Stone. I am with Simon Says Social and the Systems Lounge, and I want to welcome you to the 2017 Business Systems Virtual Summit. Today, I am very excited to have Tara Porter joining us to talk all about daily systems for your business and maybe more importantly, for your sanity. Tara is the owner of Methodical Blogger and is passionate about simplifying the blogging process for her readers. She earned her PhD in education with a focus on writing, rhetoric, and composition. During her doctoral research, she focused on building user-friendly websites to effectively engage and inform the target audience. She now uses that research to help others build and run a successful blogging business. She's also the mother of two little ones, 6 and 7 years old, and she's an avid Harry Potter fan. Tara, it is so wonderful to have you, and I'm so glad to hear that you're a Harry Potter fan. My family and I actually read that series together as a family. It was so much fun. We had a blast. So tell us a little bit about you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that introduction. I appreciate it. Yeah, Harry Potter fan is right at the top of the list of who I am. You know, I'm a Ravenclaw all the way.
All the way.
But I earned my doctorate in education, and during that time, I was a mom of two, and I had multiple businesses open, and I was crazy. I was crazy, now I'm kind of in the calm of I'm done with my work and I can take a deep breath and run my business and focus on that and be a mom. But what I found in the process of going through that crazy chaos is that I really needed a system to help me survive, to help me to more effectively be present in the different areas of my life. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on. I run Methodical Blogger, and it is focused on basically simplifying the process of blogging, because I think when you go out to create a blog, it's so overwhelming, all the tutorials and everything out there and all the research that you have to do for just the smallest things. So I break it down for my readers and just say, here's what you need to do, this, because I know what it was like. I was busy, and it was kind of one of those, I don't have time to research all that. So that's kind of been my focus, and I absolutely love it.
Very cool. So the 2017 Business System Virtual Summit basically defines a business system as something you use to accomplish a goal inside your business. It can be a tool, it can be a process, but basically you do it the same way every time and you accomplish the goal every time, either at the level that you were at or maybe even better. Can you tell us, you talk about daily systems, can you tell us how a daily system is different and how you define a daily system?
So for me, my daily system became like my lifesaver, because it allowed me to be more effective in the areas of my life. So especially when I was really overwhelmed, I got to this place where, being a mom of two, I would sit down and try to be present with my kids, play games with them, and all the while in the back of my head, my brain is going over all the different business things or the different ideas I had, and I wasn't shutting that part of my brain up, so it wasn't fully present with my kids. Right. And likewise, I would go and work on my business, and I'm thinking about all the, I gotta go, run this errand and all that. I needed a way to systemize things so that I could feel okay and comfortable shutting off that part of my brain and being fully present. Yeah. So by doing that, it made me more effective in the different areas of my life.
That's very cool. And I think a lot of people struggle with that, right? Because as an entrepreneur, it's you. Unless you have a team of people or you've hired a VA or whatever, it's basically you. So trying to find that balance is super important. So, and we alluded a little bit to why you may need a daily system, but let's dive a little deeper into that concept. So not only do I need a daily system for my work-life balance, or however you describe that, but why else might I need a daily system?
I think it definitely reduces the number of distractions that you have coming your way. I know for me, I'm one of those people where I have 20 tabs open at a time. I actually had to close like 75% of them today just for this, so that I would be calm. But I get distracted, notification here, da, da, da. And so you become dictated by, your time becomes dictated by all these external influences, and you aren't really in control. Your path isn't being determined by what your business goals are. So I feel like having a system in place keeps you very, very focused and lets you kind of tune out those distractions for that moment and narrow things down. The other thing is it's more efficient. There are some statistics, and I wish I had the source, but it talks about how there's a lot of time that you waste in between tasks.
Right.
And it's a huge thing, you know, that just that little transition from one thing to the next, we might go, oh, what's on my email, or what's on here. You save that time because you know exactly what you need to do now, and you can stay in that zone.
Right.
So yeah, those are kind of the big things.
Very cool. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think that, you know, having that system is going to absolutely help you to stay on target and accomplish your goals. We also talk a little bit about having systems in place, helping you to create a higher quality of work or content, or, you know, like for me, I create a lot of online courses. Can you talk a little bit about how having that daily system might impact the quality of my work?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, like I kind of addressed, like the time saving, you now have more time to devote to creating something pretty amazing. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just having the aspect of time. There's a book, I'm actually reading it right now, so it's not done. So this isn't a recommendation, I guess, but like one of my favorite software tools, I don't know if you've ever heard of You Need a Budget. It's super amazing. But anyway, the CEO makes his company read this every single year. They have to read it. So it's called Deep Work by Cal Newport. And what I like is the author talks about how really successful business owners work so well in this focused zone of working on one thing. Right. And I think our society's gotten to this point where it's almost like we brag about being busy and multitasking. And I've noticed that in the field of personal development, we've transitioned more to multitasking isn't as great as what we thought it was. And we're realizing, especially with our phone at our fingertips, we're realizing that we need to be focused and that we produce better when we're in that zone. So systems really help us to stay focused and get what we need done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So earlier we were talking about another book that you shared called The Sweet Spot. Can you tell us a little bit about that book?
Okay, first of all, you have to check this out.
I know. I'm loving that.
And that, like, this is the doctorate student in me. I can't read without Post-its and pen, and that's not even getting to the margins. How I am. Yeah. So this is Sweet Spot by Christine Carter, and what I love is she talks about how when you have some kind of system in place, you essentially put yourself on autopilot to where you're thinking a little bit less. And she goes into all kinds of things like habits and triggers and all that, but I just love how she describes that. I got to give a little thing for this book for anyone feeling overwhelmed. It's targeted, I would say, at moms, or not moms, but just women. But she talks about hospital syndrome, where you're so overwhelmed that you fantasize, hospital fantasy. You're so overwhelmed that you fantasize about being hospitalized.
Wow.
Get a break from things. And I will be honest, I had that when I had 6 jobs at one point, a mom of 2 and 2 kids in diapers, and a full-time doctorate student. And I fantasized about that, and I totally thought I was crazy. But like, oh my goodness, is it just me? And when I read this, oh, thank goodness. She talks about how you look at your big picture of everything that you need to do, personal, business, everything. And you kind of create these systems and these processes for yourself. So you're on autopilot, and it lets you be a more effective person in your life, and it lets you eliminate the fluff.
Nice.
We all have fluff.
We all have fluff, and I hate the fluff. I'm not a fan at all. One of the things that I really wanted to make sure we're doing in this summit is removing the fluff and really getting to the point of each of you guys' interviews. So this is really cool. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you may want to consider when creating your own daily systems. Can you give us a little bit of insight into how you created yours and what you thought about? What were the things that were high on your priority list when you were creating those systems?
I think the biggest thing is to think about what goal you have. Neil Patel, who's a fantastic marketing and blogging expert, talked about that. You need to be directed by your goal.
Yes.
Otherwise, he puts it so eloquently, but basically, that way it's kind of, again, you're not being controlled by your external influences. You are controlling where you're going.
Yeah.
You know, if you're letting all this other stuff like emails coming in and notifications dictate your day, you're not really moving forward.
Right.
So I would say start small. Start with one thing that you really want to move your business forward with, and make that your focus of what you create a system around. So pick that one thing. And what I tend to do is I've learned to work in seasons with my focus. So anyone who knows in the entrepreneur world, you can go, oh, I want to build my Facebook. So then you sign up for some training and you're going to build Facebook, and you're halfway and you go, oh, wait, I need to build my Pinterest. So you stop that, you go to Pinterest, and you're jumping all around, but you're not effectively doing what you need to be doing. You're never finishing what you started.
Right.
Me. So when I have a system, and this is the season of what I'm focusing on right now. And that's my goal. My goal's centered on that season. Whatever training I do, it's focused on that season. And then whatever system I create, it's based on what the focus is right now.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
So it's almost like Todd Herman's 90-day year. So for that 90-day period of time, your focus is all on Facebook, or your focus is all on this section of your blog, or your focus is all on, whatever that thing is that you're working on, whatever that goal is that you're trying to achieve. That's a really cool idea. It kind of helps. It's almost like chunking, right? It breaks it down so it's not quite overwhelming. If my goal this season is to build my email list, every single thing that I do needs to be every single day adding someone to that email list so that I'm actually accomplishing that. So that's really cool. I really like that idea. So you talked a little bit before we got on this interview about considering yourself when you're creating your systems. You talked about high energy days versus low energy days, what times you work better. And I know a lot of us have gone through this process of figuring out, well, when are we at our peak performance? For me, it's a little bit everywhere. Sometimes it's, morning, sometimes it's mid-afternoon, and sometimes at 1 a.m. my creative brain won't shut up and I have to get up and do something. So talk to me a little bit about what that might look like to consider your energy and to consider yourself as a person when you're developing these systems.
Yeah, so I think it's really important to take that into account. I would set up these systems for myself, and I would constantly be disappointed and feel like I failed by the end of the week. I'm going to give you an example of this. So have you seen those tracks? They're habit trackers at all? I don't know if you're into bullet journaling, but basically you track how you do a habit, right? So you put a little check mark. Well, I would have check marks all down Monday, all down Tuesday, a little less on Wednesday, nothing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that I lose steam, and I would be so frustrated with myself because I just wasn't working and feeling like I was getting stuff done.
Right.
Well, rather than sit and stew over that, I structured my system around, hey, you're Energizer Bunny on Monday. So let's put the hardest stuff and the bulk of your stuff then.
Yeah.
And then have the stuff that has very little, mental work on Friday.
Right.
And that's been a huge thing for me. And it took some trial and error, but it made a huge difference.
Right. Absolutely. I can totally see that. So let's talk for a minute about the person who maybe is just absolutely scattered. Maybe they're deep in overwhelm and they're like, oh my gosh, I need to do one more thing, which is create a system. How can that person get started? And what would be some tips that you might share with that person to help them create their first system and be successful at implementing it?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would say to take a deep breath and just know the process will help. I've been there, and you're so overwhelmed and you don't know where to start. So what I recommend people to do is, first of all, think about that goal. What are you doing in this season that you want to accomplish? Then list everything that you feel needs to happen with this goal and prioritize it. I would say kind of do two things: prioritize it, but also put it what's in order. So like, if you need to create content for an email marketing series, clearly you need to write it before you put links in or whatever. So put it in order, put it in priority, take a peek at it, and plug it into a system based on your rhythm. Maybe you're really excited about Friday, so you get a lot done on Friday. So maybe you start that whole process Friday and it rolls into the following week. I don't know anyone who's
yeah. Most people are like, oh my gosh, it's Friday, I can start.
So whatever your rhythm is pop it into that system, right? Scheduled around that. But then remember that you're going to try it and you are going to fail at things. You will. And to tweak it along the way. And what happens is, after you do this repeatedly, you keep moving things around and you keep tweaking them, what eventually happens is that system is optimized for you and your rhythm. And you can really get like the most done. I think the other thing is to look at, it gives you a chance to see what fluff that you have in there that you can eliminate. Yeah. And that's another thing Christine Carter talks about in the Sweet Spot, is to find your minimum effective dose. What's the minimum amount that I can do that still produces the results that I need? So it definitely, as you're tweaking things, you start to eliminate things so you eventually get to that sweet spot where it's the minimum effective dose that you can do that produces amazing results too.
Very cool. Oh, I like that.
Isn't that cool? Yeah.
I can't wait to get a copy of this book. It's going to be fabulous. Okay. So give us a little bit before, I know that we're coming to the end of our interview here, but give us a little bit. So if I want to get systems created in my business and I have absolutely no clue of where to get started, I mean, give us some examples of what might be a really good system for your business.
Oh, I love that question. So basically, some of the ideas I have, creating content, let's say you create video series, courses, an email marketing series, whatever you might create, you can create a system around that. Blogging, of course, that's one that I created a big system around. Even how you respond to email, that's one that you can have a strategy for how you do that. Another big one for me is social media, having a system set up for that, because that can feel all over the place. And I've actually found, since I've created a system, I'm far more effective and intentional with my social media rather than feeling like I was throwing darts before.
Yeah.
So that's a big one.
Oh yeah, I really like that. So let's say I've put together one of these systems and then for whatever reason, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I'd like for you to dive just a little bit deeper for those of us who are those perfectionists, right? You absolutely want it to be perfect every single time. And now I'm devastated because my system isn't working. What would you say to that person?
That person is me.
I know.
I get it. That is partially, I kind of structured my week in such a way that it's perfectionist proof. In other words, this week, for example, I had Monday off and I panicked, right? Tuesday came and I went, oh my goodness. But I had to just take deep breath and move into my system, make up Monday. And what was nice was with how I've set that up, Friday, when I usually have nothing really, because my brain is, gone, I have some tomorrow that I got to suck it up and deal with. Right. So just know you'll be willing to be flexible, and you've got to make sure that you give yourself room for that. And I can say when I was completely overwhelmed, you should have seen my calendar. I scheduled in like every minute of what I was doing. So if 1 minute got off course, I was going nuts. I didn't know what to do with myself. And then I got nothing done because I was so panicked, right? So what I found was if I make that buffer for life, it makes me more calm. Yeah. Not perfectly calm, but calm.
More calm than you would have been.
Right?
Okay, so we are coming to the end of our first interview, and I know we're going to dive much deeper into systems and creating your systems in the second interview, but I would like to give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit about what you offer your audience. So for the viewers out here who are really interested in getting their blog up and running and really creating a stellar system around the blogging process, tell us a little bit about what you have to offer them.
Yeah, so I have a blogger checklist that you can do. That's just the step-by-step system for creating a blog so that we eliminate all that other fluff. And it just walks you step-by-step through the different things to take. And I also have a blog post planning guide where I actually show a bit of my system and give examples of how to do that there. So those are two big things that you can get if you go to methodicalblogger.com.
Very nice. And that link is actually available below or beside this video. I'm not sure where it's all going to be at the end of the design process here, but definitely click on that. Take advantage of the resources that Tara is providing to you. And thank you so much for being here today. I really, really appreciate it. I have had a fantastic time talking with you, and I've learned so much already. And I thought I had my systems down. So So this has been an exciting opportunity. Thank you so much for being here.